Welcome to our Game 2 recap of the Panthers Maple Leaf series. Here we have Game 2, in which the Panthers strike first and second as they take both games from the Leafs right away. Okay, so based on what we've seen so far, guys, how scared are you? How scared are you of informed playoff Bobrovsky? That's the first question I'm going to ask because that's the elephant in the room. He was pretty good
Is
last
uh
night.
is Bob officially is he back on the case?
He is the lead detective. He is in charge of the case. He's putting all the resources everywhere. He is the captain. Yeah. Dude, I'm trying to think like how many times did we beat him with a clean shot? So O'Reilly last night, what was our second goal? Our second goal. I'm already
That was
blanking on his
O'Reilly, no?
goals,
The
man.
second shot? Because it was
Okay,
Kerfoot
then
with
who's
the
the
first.
Kerfa? Yeah, and the Kerfa one was the
It was
side
like
of
a
the net
second,
one after the Shen rebound. Okay.
yeah, it was a
Yeah.
second chance.
So yeah, second chance. The O'Reilly one was the clean shot, and then the other game, our two goals were both aim tight. So the O'Reilly shot was the first, what I would consider just clean goalie against shooter that we scored. We scored on him. Yeah. So I don't know. Is that great that we got one past him, or terrible that we've only got one past him? It's a glass half full or glass half empty.
Uh Man, like I don't even know. I get like where do you start with that game? Because for I would say for legitimately the first 10 minutes of that game, the Leafs go up 2-0. They have two, I believe another two power plays. They only convert on one. They get the scoring open pretty early by a big fourth line goal. And and then everything just seemed to have like crumbled away. It started to crumble by the end of that first period, but like the rot didn't set in until the second, like literally a couple minutes into the second. But that first period was as like the Leafs as advertised, right? Like
Kind of outplayed them, I'd say.
I legitimately
Kinda,
don't
absolutely.
did they have a better like 10-minute stretch in any game so far, like in the playoffs?
First 7 minutes
Period
um
where like,
of
oh, am I
game
lagging a
two
bit?
against the Bolts. Yeah, I think that was because you guys got 3 goals.
That
Like,
was a 3-0 one? Yeah,
Yes.
maybe.
yeah, but besides that, I think this is probably the best that they've had. I'm just gonna like just backtrail a bit to Bobrovsky, just because I just want to get this storyline out of the way first, because I think it's kind of important. Did you guys see what Samsonov said when they asked him about
Yes. Yep.
Dave sent it. It was great. I've said basically the only two people or the only two players the Leafs need to speak on media availabilities is O'Reilly and Sammy. That's it. I don't really care what everyone else has to say because it's just like hockey talk and whatever. Those are the only two guys who give you your thoughts and they're meaningful thoughts. So shout out to Sammy for saying I don't give a bleep about what Bobrovsky does in his net because he shouldn't. What?
no?
What does he care? What's he supposed to answer that question? Yeah, he's outplayed me in 2 games. This is great. Like, come on.
So I do have his goals his sorry, not his goals, it's his save percentage over the past 2 games. Do you guys want to take a guess at what it is?
His is
Nine.
probably like wait, Bobrovsky or Sammy?
Bobrovsky.
I know Bobrovsky's because he had the same save
Yeah,
percentage in both games. Dave, take a guess if you want.
Is it 941 or 945?
945.
44. Isn't it? Oh, okay. It's 45.
He
Okay.
had 46 in game one. He had 44 this game.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it averaged up to 945.
Gross. Absolutely gross. Sammy's is
Mm-hmm.
probably like 880. And that's not saying that Sammy's terrible and that every
Bailed you
goal he's
out.
let in is a muffin. That's not what we're saying. But we'll get into it after the game.
So
Um,
Dave's like, we'll get to
um,
it. We'll get to it.
there was I saw another stat. Like I get like to skip ahead, like the Leafs. It literally like I said it after as soon as the game was done last night. It literally felt if this is what Tampa felt games 3 and 4 against the
That's
Leafs,
exactly how
that's
I felt this
that's
morning, Dave.
exactly
Yeah.
what this was because
Yeah.
it felt like the Leafs were dictating play for the most part. I would legitimately say for maybe only 10 out of the 50
Yep.
60 minutes in the game, the Leafs held the lion's share of possession, controlled the play, got
Scoring
relatively
chances, everything.
anything like that process that we want to talk about. The
Yeah.
Leafs were, like a well-oiled machine for this process. The only problem was the printing, the execution just wasn't there. It just and it's not like it wasn't there as a like it was sort of as a result of Bobrovsky like just shutting the door after those first two goals go in. But he also had a lot, like in 2 games, I felt like we hit 5 posts, I think. There was at
Yeah.
least 3
Yeah.
yesterday. Um so after the 2-0 goal goes in, I messaged in the chat, I'm like, I don't know if I said it to you guys or one of my friends. I have like 4 different group chats going on, all talking about the Leafs. I forget if I said I said something along the lines of put your foot on the like I said it in Tampa
We
against
always
Tampa.
said,
I was
yeah.
like, put your foot on the throat. Don't look back. Don't take your pressure off the gas. And I with like maybe 5 minutes to go in the period, Tim Liljegren blows a reverse. Well, not that I don't even want to put the blame on Liljegren or JT for the Panthers goal, because Liljegren makes a reverse pass and he knows Tavares is coming behind, like coming around the net from behind to pick up the pass. But he just blows a tire. I thought, he probably just hit an edge, I would assume. And it was like there's just no chance for Sammy on this one. He's looking the wrong way. And I don't even know who
Are you talking
picked
about
up the
the
goal.
are you talking about the Lindell goal?
Lundell. Yeah.
Lundell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
It's his
I'm
first of the
I'm I'm
playoffs.
watching it right now, and I'm almost wondering if Tavares doesn't blow the tire, if it even changes anything, to be honest.
Really.
Because he's honest, like we know that Tavares isn't the most fleet of foot. The only way what I could see is maybe because it was Kachuk with the pass, right? Or I think it was Kachuk with the pass there.
Reinhardt, it was either Sam
Oh,
Bennett
it
or
was
Sam
Reinhardt. You're
Reinhardt.
right.
It was a sign something.
You're
Yeah.
right. It was
Oh.
Reinhardt. So maybe Reinhardt doesn't attempt that pass if Tavares doesn't fall, but at the same time, Tavares is behind him. He might not even know. I actually don't know if Tavares on his feet or on the floor even affects the play really. Um, maybe he would have got to the puck before it even got to Reinhardt. That's maybe another thing. It was an incredible pass. No, I'm looking at it again. Tavares wasn't going to get that puck. And listen, Sammy, I don't know if you can really fault him too much for not being prepared for that one, because I mean that's a rare play that does take some skill to pull off. And it's not even the goal that we're mad at. I think it's the response, right? That's what we're mad at here. That came with yeah, this was coming right out of the commercial break, because me and Dave were talking in the commercial break. We are like, that was 10 minutes of pure euphoria. That was heavenly hockey. And then right after that, yeah, they get that one. It felt like it was later in the period, to be honest.
That was only what, at 10 minutes?
This was 11 minutes. So they
Oh my
scored with
God.
like 8:46 left
I
in the
could have
first. It felt
sworn it
like
was
5 minutes.
I was gonna say under 5, honestly. I thought like
You
two and
know,
a half.
it did feel like that.
It was weird because like that was it's like the beginning of the periods were like action packed. First period action packed with goals. Second period, obviously, you guys know how that went. But then the beginning of the third period, you guys came out flying. But then after that, it just felt like a slow burn from that point on. It's like the oven temperatures kept rising and rising and rising to the point where the oven just blew up.
So this is my biggest take. I don't know if I should be giving biggest takeaway right now, but this is just a theme through game 1 and game 2 with the Panthers versus us. Dave's talking about how we outplayed them in both games. It's like the Leafs are too aware of how much time is on the clock in a given period. They let that affect how they play. They'll be like, oh, there's a minute on the clock. Let's just take it slow here, because we're gonna get out of here with our lead in a minute. They're too aware of the time on the clock, and they're too aware of the score. Okay, if we gotta give some comparable here for the Panthers, I don't know. It's like Pokemon when Brian, give me like an immune like damage type in Pokemon. Ground,
Normal,
lightning on ground. This
yes.
Pokemon is immune to thunder. Okay, Florida Panthers are immune to score effects. They don't give a shit what the score is in the game. They play the same way down 2-0 as they do up 3-2. Okay,
Would
and the
you?
Leafs are too damn aware of the score. We know we have a lead, and we try and take advantage of that, and it doesn't work. So those are the two biggest takeaways I've seen from Florida. And I know
Would you
they've gotten outplayed, but they're the same consistency, intensity throughout. 0 to 60. And that's
would
the
you
story for these two games.
would you argue that it's just the underdog mindset from the Panthers that is what's keeping them like this? Like, give them that
I
mindset.
Dude,
Probably.
if you're the Leafs, you come into game 3, you're the underdog. You're down 2-0. Like, I don't know if that's all it takes. I mean, let's get the underdog mentality. I don't know. There was the we want Florida stuff. Like Dave talked about the bulletin board
Wait, hold
material.
on a second. The underdog mentality, dude. We always have the underdog mentality, and it
Yeah,
normally bites us
it's
in the
true.
fucking ass every time.
Yeah.
How many years? How many years were we always the bridesmaid, never the bride to winning the first round? And it's I mean, we played well, guys. We shouldn't feel that sorry for ourselves, guys. I don't give a fuck. This is a 115-point goddamn team. Let's start playing like one. What the hell? I didn't want to get mad. I really didn't want to get mad today, but
It's not
like,
worth it.
oh,
It's not worth it about it.
oh
It's
my
just game
God.
2.
It's just like this is I didn't want to say this before. This is a team you should stomp. This is a team you should stomp on their heads, and they're stomping on you at home. Wake up! Like,
See,
get a
this is the thing,
pulse.
though.
Guys, check your pulses.
I don't know if like we're stomping on their head, but it's like if they were a bug, I don't know. They're like a
This
bug
is
with a huge freaking needle on their back that they're just kind of getting us back. Like we
Ripping
are
your shoes.
stomping them.
you ever play?
It is game 3-4 in Tampa.
You ever play Super Mario? You know when you like stomp on the what's the little brown thing? Is that a Goomba? Is that what they're called?
Goomba?
And they
Florida
flatten?
Goombas?
Yeah, dude, we're like, is there not a like a
Jumbo
thing
Mario?
where if you jump on them, like it actually kills you? You know what I mean?
It's probably
Is that not
like a spiky, isn't it? This is a Brian
something?
question.
I
Maybe
actually
maybe
don't
that
know. I don't play.
maybe that's my like instead of us stomping on the Goomba's head like we're Mario,
Yeah.
you know, we're supposed to be the heroes in this, right? We're supposed to be that, you know, we're fighting through evil, but it feels like every time we get a Goomba in our face, we get blown up or whatever. We lose our lives. And
Okay.
it's just so infuriating sometimes to watch, because I genuinely like, you watch those first 10 period the first 10 minutes of that first period, and you're like,
You guys
oh
deserve
my
to win
God, like
based off the first 10 minutes. Yeah.
this team could like I
Just
don't
go.
know.
Just do the first 2 games combined. Like how often did we outplay them in game 1? What would you say? It was 40 minutes to 20 in favor of the Leafs. I think that would
More
be
or
fair,
less, more or less.
right? So 40 to 20, and then this game we can say 50 to 10. So that's 110 minutes to 30 minutes. No, my time is off there. That is
Maybe
not
20 minutes.
correct.
No, 30
That's
minutes.
that's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
40, no, 40 and 50 is 90, guys. What am I saying? 90 to half an hour. Okay. So 3 times the possession on these guys. Okay. Like that is, we are pushing the play, and it really is just brain farts. This feels a lot closer to the past, the 2018-2019 Bruins series is kind of what this feels like, where a lot of teams watched the series and said, "Oh, Leafs are kind of the better team here, but they're not coming up right on the scoreboard." Like it's closer to that. Even then, it's not a good comparable. This is actually a pretty unique series to most that we've played. But I, listen, I said this to Dave. I posed this question to Dave. I said if I told you before the series that you would be down 2-0, so you've lost both games at home, you would be furious. You would be fuming like Dave is now. Dave is fuming. I would be fuming. But after watching these games with the context of how we're down 2-0, I feel as comfortable as one could possibly be down 2-0. Like we are dominating. Like if there's any world where you come back from the 2-0 deficit, it's the one that we're in right now.
I don't know
where
what
I'm
will
at.
make me more upset. Them going down 2-0 or them winning 4 straight and winning the series. Like they could realistically win 4 straight and come back.
Yeah.
And both of these 2 games could just be like one of the biggest footnotes in Maple Leaf history. I think the fact of the matter is, whether we've been getting goalied or not, it kind of feels like this series could have been wrapped up. That's just the way. I'm not even going to try to take away anything from Florida, because what they've done
Credit
is
to them, man.
the
Credit to them.
exact thing that they did against Boston. Game 6 and Game 7 against Boston. How much? I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, and maybe for next game I'll pull them up or whatever. But from what I saw on the eye test alone, Boston was Boston. They were, or at least this year's Boston, that's for sure. They were, they had a lion's share of possession. They had a lot of chances. They actually, like game 6, dude, they scored 5 goals, but their goalie just allowed 7. Like, you know what I mean? Allowed 7. Like, there were some good chances there. But what Florida does well is strike when, like, it feels like they turtle, and then after they turtle for a little bit, when they'll catch you on like a minor like mishap, and it's in the back of your net, basically.
And that was the story with the Bruins. I remember like so many giveaways, even in game 1 and 2, where Bruins won game 1. And was it game 6 or game 7 where Bertuzzi had a huge giveaway? Like that was the story of the series. And later in that series, you would say also it was the shaky goaltending, right? So turnovers plus shaky goaltending equals you lose the game. Simple as that. No matter how small amount of time those two things occur in, right? And for us, it was what, a 5-minute stretch this game. We took we're taking the scenic route here.
Spread over an intermission. Yeah, we fumbled that lead within. If you guys said that first goal went in at 11 minutes, I don't even think I don't even know if I was expecting them to fully like combust like that. Like, I thought, okay, they're back in the game. We need to ramp up our intensity. Here's another thing. How many times against Tampa, and even against Florida in 2 games, I would say last game, let's just mulligan the game 2 and only include game 1. How many times did we score and the other team respond almost immediately? I would say within 2 minutes of our goal going in, just
at least twice.
I would say I think it might have been 3 times.
Both times. I know. Okay, I remember the 2 times that Cirelli did it. That's why
Cirelli did it twice, and did Verhaeghe not do it last game?
Oh yes,
within
yes.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
Where is that response? Why are we ever on the flip side of that? Why can't they score 1 and you just crush that momentum?
Because
immediately.
Immune to score effects. Other teams are immune to score effects.
It seems like
we are too aware of the score.
It seems like anytime, every team we play is just immune to the score effects. Is that the problem? Like, is there just too much pressure? Like, I don't even know. Like, how do you say, like, if there's too much pressure on a team?
I don't think it's pressure. Like, I don't even think they're playing under pressure. I don't know what it is. Like, it's just gaffes, man. It is, and I don't even know if they're brain farts. Like, it's just this goal here, this Barkov goal. Who do you attribute that? That one to me is on Sammy.
Okay, it is on Sammy, but it also does not help with I believe that was the Nylander turnover at the blue line.
So I'm trying to. Yeah, so he
blows a tire,
and then he did blow the tire. Yeah.
So because he turned around, right, and then the puck gets locked in his skates, and they take it up. Now this is where, listen, it feels like I've been coming at Sammy now for a couple of games now in a row. I would say maybe of the last 4 games, 3 of them I've been like, Sam, please help us out here. And I don't think the criticism leveled against him is not well warranted, because in the Tampa series, sure, he had the better stats than Vasilevsky, but and he also got the win when it mattered most. I get it. But he was just marginally, like, it wasn't a great all-around showing from Ilya Samsonov. You have to be better than your opponent, right? It's also very hard to maintain like 945, a 945 save percentage across, what is it, 9 games. But when your opposing goalie is outdoing you that badly, 9 times out of 10, you're losing those types of games, right? It's
I'm
just
just
unfortunate.
Barkov
yeah.
Barkov scores, makes it 2-2 early, very early in the second. In that moment, what are you guys thinking? Do you guys still think there's a little bit of hope left, or do you
Oh yeah,
guys?
it's a tie game. Like at that point, you're still saying Leafs are dominating. We're back at zeros, but edge to us. We're dominating, right? Outside of that little stretch there, that's it. And this one, yeah. So Nylander giveaway, Sammy not good on it. I watched that play and I say to myself, just after watching the full game, how many times did we do that? How many times did we turn over the puck in the neutral zone and just put a shot on net? And obviously Bobrovsky just doubles it up, right? I'm putting more and more of it on Sammy, to be honest. It was a innocent looking play. It was very innocent looking. Barkov does not get much on it, and it's from distance. So
Do you
yeah,
think that's an argument? Do you think that there's an argument that can be on the coaching staff? Because early in the second, you should put the stable guys on. You should put the guys that are prone to just getting the puck, waiting the face off, and just cycling it just to start momentum again, instead of turning it over, obviously. Do you think
so
that's
who was out there? Was it Willie? Was it
That
just
would have
Willie
been the JT
JT?
line.
it was O'Reilly, Nylander, and Tavares, and then the defenseman was the Brody line.
O'Reilly was out there, yeah.
I think he's 90. Is
Uh,
O'Reilly 90?
Yeah.
yes, he is. He is.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So I
So
don't know if you can really fault that line. I think
that's
what you
very
could fault
surprising.
is yeah, but none of that was really O'Reilly's fault. It would like if it's a forward's fault, it's on Willie. Um, if anything to fault coaching wise, like I don't know, whatever the message was in the intermission. I do feel Keefe sometimes he might listen, he's a fiery guy, but I do think sometimes he tries to be like too calm. I can just imagine him in the dressing room and be like, okay, guys, we're up 2-1. Let's just play a patient game here. We're doing good things and we're in a good spot. We're in a good spot. And then Paul Maurice in the other dressing room is just firing up Florida and they come out guns ablaze while the Leafs are like, let's just play our methodical game here. We're doing okay. We're doing okay. Like it's, you know what I mean? I feel like that was the more likely outcome. If you want to put anything on coaching, I could totally see that. Yeah, yeah. So that's what I would say on that front.
I
Alexander
mean,
Burke. Oh, sorry,
sorry.
Dave.
So that line in particular, though, Bry, they've not had a good series, I think, by any stretch of the good 2 games, I would say, by any stretch of the imagination. But at the end of the day, that's also that's your big killer line.
Oh,
Like,
it's
you
three
know what
All
I mean?
Stars. Yeah.
Like that is your I'm not saying shut down because that's not what they are, but they also have a habit of closing down bigger offenses. Like they get the big time minutes,
Matchups.
right? And also that Brody and McCabe line, defensive pair has been fantastic. Like they've been genuinely lights out for, I would say, over the past 2 games they've been lights out. Like in this series, they maybe in Tampa they weren't always the best, but I would say in 2 games against Florida they were
I
pretty
would say in
pretty
this game they
solid.
were pretty good. I think you could definitely like the Brody stuff last game, right? The
Yeah.
turnover.
Okay. Fair
Um,
enough.
I know a lot of people are like mad for McCabe on the pinch that leads to the Kachuk penalty. I definitely think this game they were a lot better. I thought they were pretty good
Yeah.
this game. Yeah, yeah.
100%. It's just like, yeah, no, the gaff. It seems like the gaff happens and everybody just goes into fire drill mode. They don't know how to react, and it's
It's
tough
something that we
because
did a good job of not being affected by in
yeah,
the regular season. Like this was something that would affect us totally mentally years ago, right? Where we were super aware of the score effects and like we would blow leads, all of this stuff would happen. We did a pretty good job of it during the regular season, mainly because we've also been winning a lot. So it's a lot easier to like hold your own when you got a lead. But yeah, this little sequence here, it was like what 10 minute stretch where they just let up. They let up. This Forsling goal here, I don't know. I'm trying to look at whose fault this might have been. There's a bunch going on.
I know Matthews had the original turnover. He tries to like
Yeah,
flip the puck
yeah.
out, right, and it does not hit a body and just gets knocked back, like right back in. That at
Yeah.
that point, it's like Florida is whatever pressure Florida was putting on before, they amped it up to 100. They saw the wounded animal and they were ready to strike. All credit to Tampa there. That's a beautiful passing play. I think that's Kachuk over to Forsling for the cross
Yes.
seam pass. Wow. And just like that, the Leafs were up, heading into intermission, and 5 minutes in, now they're down 3-2. And even at that point, I said to myself,
It's a game.
they could do it. Like we've seen this team do it. They've come back from 3 goals to win it in overtime. I'm not putting anything past this team, but I needed to see the process working again. Like, and it did, but they couldn't get it to, like, they couldn't get the finish. Like, my God, it's just so frustrating. It's like it's an
So
endless loop. That's what it is.
Do
yeah,
you think so?
I
So
go
I
ahead,
asked you
bro.
guys earlier, with the Barkov goal, can you blame the coaching staff? Can you blame the coaching staff for the Gustav Forsling goal? Because 40 seconds in between goals is not a lot of time, but it's enough time for you to say to your team, "All right, let's settle down." Am I justified in saying that, like, the coaching staff should have been able to, calm down the nerves, put the cycle line on, and just slow down the pace of the game?
This is your big boys out there. This is Matthews, Bunting, Marner out there. I it sounds stupid, but I really did feel like just Matthews trying to be a little too cute, right? Maybe don't try the flip pass after your team just gave up 120 seconds ago, right? So I don't know. It's tough to blame the coach when it's your best line out there. I don't think that one's on Keefe either personally. I get the idea of like, hey, we just gave up one. What do you say to your team? I think whatever you say to your team doesn't really matter. I think it's up to the players to be like, oh shit, we just got scored on. We got to make the difference here. Um, and listen, this is a rarity for those guys, right? But it's also, I don't know how many times has Kachuk made the huge giveaway to get scored on. I don't know. At least in this series, I can't remember. I don't know in the Bruins series, but this is the trust line, right? If you're putting out a line that say that and you're saying we cannot get scored on in this shift, that's our line, and they got scored on. So I don't.
One thing Sheldon Keefe was getting crucified for after game 1, he had, I believe it was like 240 time on ice with the fourth line going up against with our fourth line going up against the Sam Bennett, Matt Tkachuk, Nick Cousins line, the line that was eating people alive, and he caught a lot of flack for that, right? Imagine if that line is on again for this goal, what people might be saying about Sheldon Keefe's decision making, in a home game, right? I think he played it as best as he could, right? You can't account for gaffes to happen in your own zone, right? So he does his best to try and resolve the situation by putting out those big boys, but at the end of the day, instead of the puck escaping your zone and going up the ice maybe for a goal on, like, to regain the lead, it's in the back of your net. So I think there's a time and a place to criticize Sheldon Keefe. I think that one I would maybe let it slide, but I think after that goal goes in, he needs to. I'm tempted to say call a timeout because that's 2 goals in 40 seconds. He left his timeout to like 5 minutes left in the game, I think, or under 5 minutes left in the
It
game.
was like a minute. It was like a minute 30.
Ah,
I wouldn't have called a timeout there. I think that's saying like five alarm fire if you're calling a timeout on a 3-2 game. I don't know. I think that almost maybe even ramps up the pressure. I don't know. And listen, I think it was the right decision based off of the fact that we didn't let up another one after that. And I think play did turn into our direction. If we wanted to criticize stuff on the offense, Matthews had 6 shots. I don't know if more than 2 of them were really threatening shots. There was one spot where he went high on Bobrovsky off of I think it was off of a Nylander pass. And he had a couple 1-Ts, but there was a lot of just, I'm skating in the zone, I'm going to throw it on net, and it either is just straight into the chest or just not in threatening spots, to be honest. I don't really think he challenged Bobrovsky as much as the box score would look. So he's got to be a sniper. Like, it needs some more threatening shots, to be honest. Maybe that's not even the way to attack him. Maybe at that point you don't even put clean shots on net on this guy because he's just saving them all for the most part. Marner had 6 shots. He was firing the puck, and his was like he got Bobrovsky's mask off that one time. Like I didn't have too much of a problem with Mitch on the game as a whole. Me and David talking about it. I did think he faded as the game went on. He had a monster first period where he has the spinorama pass to O'Reilly for the goal, or just a backtracking pass. Beautiful. He played almost 25 minutes last night, and he penalty kills. Like Marner has to have a terrible game for me to really do him in. And then Willie, how many goddamn chances did Willie have in the back half
Dude,
of that game?
after that giveaway that he gave, the guy turned into like a Super Saiyan. He must have had 3 separate shifts where he collected the puck at center ice and took Florida on 1v4 single-handed or 1v5 single-handedly, right?
That was the Nylander we were talking about last night, by the way, with
Yes.
Brian, where we were like, I sent the stats from Mike Kelly. It's like he's first in rush chances, he's first in scoring chances, he's first in inner slot stuff, all zone entries that lead to scoring chances, all this stuff, all the metrics that you associate with Nylander were there, but it didn't look like it. There's context behind these chances. Where is it a threatening scoring chance? Where is the scoring chance? What is it like? Just watching last night compared to the past 7 playoff games, it was like, that's the dominant Willie we saw. That is the guy we saw. The guy who, like Dave said, automatic zone entry, 1 versus 5, somehow manages to get a good shot off, or he's literally at the front of the net and he's challenging Bobrovsky. He had that play coming out of the corner at the end of the game where he finally hit that Willie backhand signature move that he usually goes roof with. Didn't get up high enough on that attempt, and it just hit Bobrovsky's pad. But I don't know what it was. Whatever Keefe said to Willie there, or like if he did him in after that giveaway, if he said, Willie, like, slap on the wrist, what the hell, man? Whatever it was, it worked beautifully. And we need to see more of that because that was a huge difference maker.
So you guys are talking about Nylander. I can also mention Austin Matthews and John Tavares. Both of their XGs went up by an average of 1, just based off the last game.
I'm telling you, the Matthews stuff, it's the context again. You look at the numbers there, I'm sure the numbers look great, but if you just watched all 6 of his shots, 2, maybe 3 of the 6 were you like, that had a chance to go in. They just either were taken from distance or they weren't placed well, to be honest.
Where I'm going with this is that going into the series, or after game 1 or something like that, the Panthers had 3 of the top 5 XGs. Like 1, 2, 3 was like Chuck, Bennett, and like, I don't remember who it was. Maybe like Reinhart or something like that.
Probably.
I think it was Reinhart. It was 3 forwards.
Okay.
But now the leading XGs between both teams are Tavares, Austin Matthews, and Nylander, and then come the Florida guys.
Yeah.
These metrics show us that it seems like it's just Bobrovsky just standing on his head, or that.
Yeah, I think there is a case. There's a case to be made. In particular, like with JT, with those expected, like you want to say, like his expected goal went up by 1. I honestly don't even know if he played that great of a game, but the chances he had were legitimately AAA opportunity. Like he had another, it was like a 2-on-1 that he hit off of Bobrovsky's shoulder onto the crossbar. Like,
was this a breakaway attempt with Willie? Not breakaway attempt, but like the
it was the in tight, right?
Yeah,
it was just like come on. But I think other than that though, you want a little bit more from your captain. It feels like, you know, his lack of foot speed is catching up with him in this series more than Tampa, where he was able to get around some of those big meteor demon. Like I would say if we're gonna compare the two sets of defensemen on Tampa and Florida, I would say Florida has by far the more mobile defense core. Even like, there was that one game where they were down like Cernak and Hedman, like that, you know what I mean? Even if you include those two in the play, I would still say that Florida's more mobile. Oh,
But,
it
but
just
where
it
I'm
looks like
but where I was going with the XG is it's a telltale sign that you guys are just outplaying them. What do you tell your team if the numbers show you're outplaying them, if the on ice product and the eye test shows that you're outplaying them? Like, how do you get this team to win? Like, if you're Shelby Keefe, what do you say?
But this is like this. So this is like saying the goalie has a 945 save percentage. Do you tell them keep on going, just do the same things, or do you say, guys, we need even a little bit more? Like I feel like that's the message you have to be giving: is guys, this is great, but it's not good enough. The same response on defense and to goaltending. Sammy, you're keeping us in it, but you got to win it for us. Defense, guys, we're doing good, but those one mistakes are costing us. Those singular mistakes are costing us. You got to elevate the bar. Despite us dominating, we got to take the possession from 50 minutes to 10 to 55 to 5. That's what it's going to take to win the series. That's what it seems
it's gonna
like.
have to literally be like 59-50 to 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yes. Yeah.
literally impossible types of numbers to do, but that's what it feels like. It's gonna have to take like a Herculean effort now, especially now that you're down 2-0. Like in every sense of the word, Herculean is gonna have to be on the lips and on the minds of everybody in the Toronto Maple Leafs locker room heading into game 3 on Sunday, because it's going to take a whole team effort in order to win one game, then turn that into 2 and then 3 and then 4 games, right? Like it feels like at this point there's really no more room for error, even though there is technically one more room for error, like a little bit, but there shouldn't be any more room for error.
Okay.
Man, I mean, look, we won 3 games in a row in the Tampa series, so it's Super Bowl. And like the Panthers were in this spot and they won their series. Like they just have to look at those 2 examples. That's it.
Okay. I think that's good for now. Well, we're just gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back. We are back from a little break. Okay, so we're gonna change it up a bit. This is no longer a hockey podcast. This is now a WWE podcast. Let's talk about Randy Orton, or should I say Sam Bennett, with the RKO on Matthew Nyes.
I have
It
one
looked more of
question for
like
you. Can you smell what the Rock is cooking?
Oh my god, dude, we were going to the same place. That looked like a textbook rock bottom. That looked like
Rock bottom.
the people's champ at WrestleMania, I don't know, 17, 18, whenever he fought Stone Cold, whenever he laid a smack down to Vince McMahon and whoever's candy ass he wanted to. Oh man.
That was very much not the people's champ last night.
No,
He is
that
the Florida man's champ.
is he not from
Um,
Ontario as well?
Sam Bennett's
I
from
think he's a
GTA, bro.
GTA boy, man. Like his
Oh,
favorite player
Sammy
growing
B.
up is Dougie Gilmore. Like
Yeah.
it's and I heard a lot of people saying this before the series where everyone's like, listen, everyone thinks it's gonna be Kachuk as the villain, and a lot of people were saying Sam Bennett.
Yeah.
Sam Bennett is the true villain. Okay, Kachuk is just the disguise. He's just the henchman for
I
Sam
don't know,
Bennett.
man. Kachuk is pretty freaking good as well.
Listen,
It
in
feels
reality,
like,
they're partners in crime.
yeah,
They are
that's like
the duo,
they are
dynamic
the
duo.
if
Tag
we're
team
gonna
champs.
if we're gonna use the WWF comparable, they are the Hardy Boys. They are the Dudley
Oh
Boys.
God,
They are Edge and
what
Christian,
a
right? It's the
throwback.
tag team.
Yeah. No, okay. We have Edge and Christian. They have Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy.
Jeff Hardy
Yeah,
and
okay.
Matt. Yeah, Jeff and Matt.
I don't know who our Edge and Christian are, but I don't know. Is it Luke Shan
Somebody's
and
got to step up. Somebody has to step up and be them, right? Like
yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
see them take it to, like, okay, so we see the what's that, the UFC thing? It's like a front leg takedown, or it's like a leg sweep, whatever. That's what that looked like. It looked like something out of Dana
Yeah.
White's UFC, right? And so we see that happen.
Behind the
Nyes is
net,
down on
behind
the
the play.
floor, behind the net, behind the plate, no call. Nyes is down on the ground, and everybody's like,
Gets up slowly.
yeah, everybody tenses up a little bit, and he goes to the bench, but he stays in. And when he stayed in, I said to myself, I didn't see that graphic on the top left corner that said Matthew Nyes has left the, has went to the dressing room, whatever. I didn't see that graphic, and I was like, okay, fine, awesome, that's great. And then he comes out for another shift a couple minutes later, and it's like, wow, this kid's an absolute warrior. And then if the period ends and they come back and they're on the broadcast, they say that he's not going to be or I think Leafs PR might have tweeted out during the intermission that he wouldn't be returning, and it's like, it was just such a deflating blow.
That's my son there, man. They took my son. Look what they did to my son.
My son, who's 3 years younger than me. Like, this guy's only
Leafs Nation
20.
as a whole. That's what Leafs Nation as a whole is saying. Yeah. He got mugged behind the net, man. The guy got mugged.
Yeah.
Like, it's a goddamn choke slam. Like, I don't know. I have you guys seen? Has there been anything on the Sam Bennett Department of Player Safety front?
There will not.
You don't think for the chokes? You don't think he gets even fined for the choke slam?
Here, this is what I want to say. Okay, so let's skip ahead a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's talk about then after later in the game. It's like deep in the third period. Sam Bennett gets a wicked cross check into Michael Bunting's. Oh no, actually it was in the second period. And you know how I know this? Because so he gets a wicked choke slam. Michael Bunting's grabbing his neck on the ground, and he's trying to come back up, and then Sam Bennett lays another xylophone cruncher right on his back, dude.
Yeah.
Now, is Michael Bunting prone to embellishment? Yes, of course. But at the end,
that looks painful.
I think anybody getting a goddamn piece of lumber to the back of their neck is gonna be like, "Ow, what the fuck?"
Yeah,
like,
that's what I mean.
It's called being human.
Here's how just ass backwards we are in Canada. That play happens. They have Dallas Eakins, former Marlies head coach, current worst coach in the NHL, going on broadcast in front of the millions and millions of his supporters. I'm trying to make a rock joke there. And he's saying, and he goes on broadcast, and he's like, Michael Bunting needs to stop holding his neck doing stuff like that because it makes him an even bigger target. Dallas Eakins, D-man, whatever you want to be called. What are you talking about right now? He has to stop holding his neck after being nearly paralyzed? Like, that's a cheap shot from behind to no protection. What are we talking about here? This isn't the UFC. This isn't the WWE, man. It's the NHL.
I just want to have a quick aside here about Dallas Eakins. So we had Derek Lalonde in the first round. Everyone's like, look at this guy. He looks like he's from like Lord of the Rings or something. Everyone's like, this guy looks weird. I don't really think he's gonna have great stuff. And he had fantastic analysis. Like, I really, really, really enjoyed him. Yeah, like he was awesome. He was awesome.
That's last
game. Vassy,
yeah. I loved it. 10 out of 10. Kind of like him for the Red Wings now. Like, cool hire, good job. And then we go to Dallas Eakins, or I hear about us getting Dallas Eakins, and I'm thinking to myself, I could see that working too. I had just listened to an interview of Dallas Eakins on Sportsnet probably a week or two ago. He sounded pretty good. I think he sucks as a coach. Absolutely sucks. The proof is in the pudding. And just the couple times we played Anaheim this year, the first time they beat us and that was god awful. But the second time it was a total beatdown. And Dallas Eakins, he looks so defeated and so disgusted. I would not want to play for this guy. This guy looks awful to play for. But I thought to myself, I'm like, you know what? He actually might be okay in media. I could see it working out. He's 0 for 2 so far. I've not brought much to the table. I thought maybe he could be a bit more successful in media than coaching. What's left? Not media, not coaching. I don't know, Dallas. We're running out of avenues for you, to be honest.
It's
That's
just
my
like
little
how can you be boring, monotone, and wrong all at the same time?
Yeah,
At least
I
pick
thought.
one. Like,
Did he get
you've
did he
got
get
guys like
sacked? Is
Yes,
like
2
is
weeks.
he
Yeah,
employed?
yeah. He's
Oh,
not
yeah, no,
employed.
he's still
He's
there.
not employed. He's
Oh
employed
no,
by
he got sacked.
Sportsnet.
Awesome,
Yeah, he got sacked,
fantastic,
man. He's
good.
it's not
That's
good.
awesome.
He's not. He's not
Let's
good.
bring back let's bring all the fired coaches onto
oh, I just want to give
Sportsnet.
some context. He was the coach of the Anaheim Ducks this season. If anybody's listening and they were wondering what we're
Yeah.
talking about, the Anaheim Ducks were
You
like
didn't even need to know
garbage.
that because he's just irrelevant. Like he's genuinely
Okay.
He's just
irrelevant.
not. He's just
That's
not
an
a good
irrelevant
coach.
man.
Okay, so Dave, fired coaches, past fired coaches. Who do we want round 3?
Bruce
I feel
Boudreaux,
Bruce. Okay, Bruce is a pretty obvious one.
Barry Trotz.
Okay, Stanley Cup final. I want Peter Horacek. No,
Oh wait, you're saying in terms of dude, bring back
Well-
Ron Wilson, dude. Ronnie franchise.
okay.
Round 3 is gonna be Brian Burke, fired ex GM. It's
Yeah,
Brian Burke and
yeah, I
John
can see that.
Ferguson Jr. in the center there. Exactly.
Just Ron gone, Elliott gone, Bieksa gone, full retired or fired coaches and GMs.
Yeah.
I want that for like one game. It'd be hilarious. Berkey as the host. He has
Yep.
to do all the ad reads. He has to do the intros and eggs. I want to see that.
I have one.
That's my little side. Back to WWE. Okay, Brian, go ahead.
Peter Laviolette. So no other coach.
Oh,
no other,
God.
no other
Oh,
team
God.
can suffer what I went through. I wouldn't wish that on my worst
Brian,
enemy.
how well do you think he'd do on a broadcast? Here's a compare that to Dallas Eakins, okay? Do you think he does better or do you think he fails harder than Dallas Eakins does?
Oh, he fails.
Yeah? Like even worse than Dallas?
Oh,
I think Laviolette, like Christian says, like Dallas Eakins can't coach, he can't do media. You know,
What's
I'd be
left, man?
like Laviolette's in the same boat.
Waterboy?
Maybe.
God. It's
Okay.
just I did have a point going back to I do know what my point
Okay,
was.
okay. Sorry
So
about this. Brian.
that-
Sorry for derailing.
That both happens, right? I thought for sure, like in my head, I'm like, okay, the nice play, it's rough. It's behind the net, whatever.
To me,
it's
that one's way
malicious.
worse. Personally, I think that one's way worse.
I think the other one is way worse just because they have a precedent. They have a
go with
precedent
this.
for
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Last season, Austin Matthews cross-checks Rasmus Dahlin in the exact same. I would say this is even more. This one was even more malicious because at the very least you could say Matthews wasn't aiming for the neck. He went for Dahlin's shoulder, but it rode up and it caught him in the neck.
And they were face to face too, weren't they? Like Dahlin was at least like, I am looking
Yeah.
at the guy who was trying to kill me.
Yeah, he hit him like in
Bunting's
the side.
face is not
Yeah,
for
no, he's
play here.
like that was
Totally
direct
unaware. Can't
stick to
brace for
spine.
anything.
That is
Yeah.
stick to spine. Everybody in it felt like there was a full blown meltdown as soon as this happened.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, how could Austin Matthews do this, guys? We've been calling for him to be tough for the past 6 years, but how could he be dirty? And everybody was like, suspend this man. And you know what the NHL did? They suspended that man. And
How
everybody
long? How long?
They gave him
How many-
2 games. They gave him 2 games. So
Was it 2? It was
they gave him
2?
2 games. They gave him
Okay.
2 games.
Okay.
And they, they had the
Forgot
hearing.
it was 2.
They announced the hearing directly after that game. I remember it distinctly. It was 5 minutes. I had the NHL, what's it called? NHL player safety. I had their tweet notice on because I was like, I'm waiting to see when
It's
this
coming.
happens. Like 5 minutes. It was legitimately 5 minutes. And so it gets 2 games. I think even in Leafs Nation, people were like, you couldn't really defend it because at the end of the day,
No.
that's what happened. Because
Cross, stick, neck.
we were like, okay, listen, just don't make it longer than like, I don't know, 5 games or what. Like, you know what I mean? It was like, oh, give him if you're gonna give him a suspension,
Yeah.
maybe it's 1.
I think 2 is
2
fine.
2
is
was worst
fine.
case scenario,
Yeah.
and they gave him 2, and we were like, that
Okay.
makes sense.
But Dave, based on what you're saying, there was a precedent, 2 games, but then there's also a playoff precedent, which is double the amount of regular season games.
So we should get
And
one game.
So this is to my point. He has the cross check. he gets called on the play, so there's taking, whatever. I don't think
There was
Matthews.
something that was called. Yeah.
I don't think Matthews got called on that play, or maybe I'm misremembering, and maybe he did. But like, that's still endangering an opponent, like your opponent. Like, is it not? Is that not?
It's like,
what are we doing here?
there was the Timo Meyer discussion the past couple of days, and the argument was, do you want this hit still in the game because it's a legal hit, but do we want it in the game? There's no one who's saying I want cross checks to the neck. Keep that in the game.
I want a
that's
potential
hockey, baby.
paralyzation. Yeah, that's good old time hockey.
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, I wish that I don't think two borderline suspendable plays. I wish you could add those together and get a suspension.
They're not.
But it's not. I'm not expecting it. I think, like, if I had to bet money on which one there would be something for, it would be the choke slam. Personally, even though we have precedent, like the NHL doesn't get, like, they're just dumbasses. So, they don't care. I think choke slam is it's a goddamn choke slam. I don't know what else to say. I just give me a fine so I can at least point to you being like competent enough to at least rewatch the plays. I will literally be happy with a fine. That's how low the bar is on this shit. On the penalty talk front, like, how many missed calls were there? Like, high stakes. I know I'm not. I don't like to do the reffing excuse. Yeah. Good one, Dave. Good one, Matt. We finally figured out what that was now, eh?
What was
We
it?
didn't realize. So what he was saying is 5-1 were the minors. So five penalties for Florida, one for Toronto. However,
right.
it was a double minor. So really, it was like 4 power plays to 1.
And we had 2 power. So it should have been like this. He had the 6 right. He had the 6 right. But he did it like this. So,
anyways, that's what Promo was trying to do.
Yeah.
On the penalty front, though, like, it really did feel like, okay, Leafs got 2 power plays in the first, and you would have to commit, you'd have to commit murder to get that third one. But at the same time, once again, I don't use the reffing excuse often, and I'm not going to even use it here because that is how the NHL works. Like, it is what it is. I don't know what else to say. And a lot of the high stakes, looking back at them, were behind the play or just in spots that didn't really affect possession. And once you got like more than a 2 penalty advantage on the other team, it really does feel like unless the play affects possession, it is not getting called. It is not getting called. I just had to, like, I don't know what to say here about the reffing. Like, it's just so stupid how the NHL operates, but it's just how it works. And it is a little frustrating, but I'm not going to use it as an excuse because, man, our power plays were firing, second game in a row. And what are we now? 1 for a combined 5, 6?
Yeah, 4. Oh, yeah.
Something like that.
4.
4 in game
like
1, 3 in game 2, 1 for 6, 1 for 7. So,
oh my God,
it's got to be better than that. You got to have at least 1 more, right? Last night we were 1 for 3, so that's 33%. We take that. We take those. It was last game where it mattered, but once again, this is like, it's tough to be mad with the power play because the chances are there. The process is fantastic. We game the zone no problem. Almost like 80% of our zone entries are working, and they lead to possession and they lead to a shot on goal. God damn, we can't find the back of the net on those things either. Like, what do you get? Like, it feels like we're kind of like the old men, like, yelling at clouds because it's like the Leafs are doing so much right, and yet here we are. There is reasons. There's legitimate reasons. We've outlined them. But just on the wide, large picture, it just feels so frustrating.
So going into game 3 on Sunday, actually, because somebody wants to watch Equestrian. I don't know if you guys heard that.
I thought that's what it was. Maybe like he probably said that like half kidding on the radio, like just as a joke.
Hear this. What happened?
So apparently the Panthers like owner, is it Viola? Is that his name? Vinny Viola? So Vinny Viola likes to watch horse racing, and there's like a horse race on Saturday, and so that's part of why he didn't want it on Saturday. But there's also the fact that Miami Heat play.
I'm walking out.
Dave. I really.
I was straight up. I know. Okay, so what I have heard that's gotta be a joke. If that is the
If there's even
legitimate
like
truth,
10% truth, it's hilarious though.
yeah, like just take out his, like, find a new owner, honestly.
Yeah.
On top of the fact that his decision was to not allow Leaf fans, to buy tickets, if you weren't from the South Florida area.
We'll be fine.
So-
It'll be full.
But
We'll be
where
okay.
No, 100%.
where I'm
But
going with
okay,
this.
but the Heat play on Saturday, and there's
Mhm.
also the Miami Grand Prix. So I
Yeah.
mean, there is actual legitimate reasons too. So
So where I'm going with this is, you guys are playing away. It looks like you guys prefer to play away. I'll be honest with you guys, just based off the record. Do you think that there's substance to that statement in the sense that your record's better, or do you think just the way that the cookie crumbles?
I mean, if you look at the 3 games, there was only like one where we outplayed the other team, or even played an even game. We get outplayed on the road, but we got wins.
You win
It
though,
looks
right?
it looks like the Florida games, to be honest, right? Maybe not that as tilted, but I I don't know. Like, I do think it helps to get away from the echo chamber, but I think there was more that had more of an effect in round one when it was still the first round demons. They're kind of out of the pressure bubble now. Like, round two is not house money. There's definitely tons of pressure, especially given the matchup, but I don't think they dread the media and the outrage of a fan base as much as they should have in round one. So I don't know how much escaping it helps. I'm sure it does still a little bit. It just allows you to focus on the guys in the room, and that's it. You block out more noise on the road. And I think it will also be really cool when on Sunday there is a ton of Leaf fans in the arena, and you can point to that and be like, "Oh, boys, this is great." Because road Leaf fans versus home Leaf fans, different
they're
type of animal.
wild.
Different type of animal.
Ooh.
I don't know how many people go on the road to watch a Leaf game and are like you're not the type to be like, Austin Matthews stinks, man. Get this guy. Like, it's not those Leaf fans. Way more common at a home game. If you're on the road, you are dedicated. Like, it's a different type of animal.
You're supporting the team.
You are supporters through and through and through.
I would equivalent this to the away fans in European football, right? The away there's so much, like, not mystique, but like there's so much of a they set the away fans to like a higher standard, because those are the ones that are traveling across whatever country you're watching in, right? Sometimes those away fans in European football have to go to different countries. Like, they're taking plane rides 6+ hours. So you want to show up for them, and that's why there's so much passion when you score and you're in the away end and they go over to those fans. Like, it's jubilation. Though the away fans that the Leafs have in particular, you go back to Tampa, it's what's his name, Billy the Greek,
Billy
the Greek, man. Like, that's the away fan that
we need
goes
him
to
in the
those
building,
games.
man. We need him there. Oh,
It's not guys like the ticket scalper from round one and round two, the guy
dark arts.
that guy that shows up to every single, it's like, it seems
Oh,
like
that
every single
idiot.
Leaf game
Ah.
in the other
I-
team's jersey.
I
Okay,
bet
he's not
you-
an idiot. I
Spike.
kind of respect it, to be honest. Like, I think it's hilarious, but
I bet
I
you that
hate
guy's from
it.
around here, from Woodbridge, like
oh,
Aurora,
he
or
is.
King or
He is.
Oh,
something.
100%,
Yeah.
man.
He is here.
Yeah.
He's a Toronto
I-
ticket scalper. That's what he is.
He had a great quote too, man, where it was like, "I love all Toronto sports except the Leafs." It was great. And he had something else too. It was a really, really. He's like, I don't. He's like, I don't cheer for the Leafs. I just cheer more for the other teams or something. Or I gotta find it. It was a great one.
Speaking of that guy, okay, yesterday I had to get ready for work, like, in the morning, and I was listening to another podcast, I think, and something just came across. Like, I had it in my mind. I was like, dude, this would be a banging TikTok video. I'll say it now because I don't know if I'm gonna end up making it. I might think of doing something else, but I went to work and I was like, damn, I should have wrote that TikTok down so I could have made it. Have you guys ever seen the Chappelle Show before?
No.
Bro, I'm just in my hockey bubble, man. I
Okay.
know. Okay, Dave, let's
So
explain to the audience.
so
Okay?
Dave Chappelle, I think, is hands down one of the funniest comedians, like, of genuinely of all time. His show only ran for like 2.5 seasons, I think, but both seasons were jam-packed filled with legitimately quotable moments. There's one skit that he does where he brings the biggest playa haters across, like from across the world, to come into like a convention. It's the playa haters ball. I don't know if there's like context to it, but it's like everybody in there is just a troll and a hater. They just make fun of each other, they roast each other. And there's one line in particular that's like they're because they're trying to compete to be the biggest playa hater. And I just had the idea. I was like, at one line, they're like, damn, that's the biggest player hater here. And I wanted it to be that like audio, but with this guy, like just at different Leaf games supporting. I
You have
thought
to
that
do it
was
now,
cool.
Dave.
I maybe I should, but that's one that I think will just go over so many people's heads. Because like if you guys aren't like, that's something that's like, if you're over the age of 35, maybe you'll find it funny. But I'm trying to get like everybody.
I
You
think
know
there's
what I
definitely
mean?
people. I think there's definitely people our age that watch.
Yeah,
Dave,
you
you have
have
a
to.
Dave, you have a
I'm the
20K
I'm in the
TikTok. I trust
minority
you.
here.
I also don't have
Yeah.
TikTok, so yeah, I see the TikToks after 3 months when they're on Instagram Reels.
Yeah.
But so okay, basically you guys are going away. Game 3 on Sunday. Is it still hockey night in Canada technically? Because it's
I
CBC.
don't even. I don't
I think
even.
like
Whatever,
every night
whatever.
it's hockey night in Canada. To be honest, like it's
That's
just
true.
Well, the Leafs and the Oilers alternate games. I know that. Oh, that was another one too. Let's just
Yeah.
sidetrack for a second. They originally scheduled tomorrow night's Vegas Edmonton game for
for
tonight,
tonight.
but I think
The difference is they announced it. Like that's
Yeah.
the problem. Like they
They-
never
yeah, they didn't
announced
announce-
anything for the Leafs.
Yeah. They had the like it was all set in stone. People legitimately bought plane tickets and the tickets
Booked hotels.
for that game, the hotels.
That's
And
such
now
an L.
some people just have to reschedule, like just not be able to go because they can't take the time off or for whatever reason. It's just such a backwards, like, why are we all like,
I don't know
why
how
is
you
the
do that. I don't know.
how is
As you're the
the NHL just has the biggest loser mentality?
if you
Like,
want to be the primary sport, you
act
can't
like it.
you can't
Uh,
you can't move for equestrian and Formula One or
Yeah.
NBA, especially when when the Heat are playing on the other
Have-
side of the state.
Well,
Dude.
I don't know what the Vegas reason was. I don't know what it was.
I know, but like I like that.
Yeah.
But like that's probably the snowball because they wanted something
You
on
know what?
Saturday
Actually,
night.
no. Isn't this in Edmonton? No, wait. Is this game
No,
in
it's in Vegas.
Edmonton?
No, it's in Vegas.
Yeah,
in
sorry. Yeah, you're
Like
right.
you
You're right.
can't
You're
can't like have some guy in Florida affect your West Coast game. Like that just doesn't make
I don't
sense.
know. No, I don't think they're related at all.
But,
I don't think
like
that
you
was
can't.
the reason.
But then what would you not?
I-
What would you have on a Saturday night then?
I
Like
don't
hockey
know
night in
what
Canada
the
has to be
I don't know
played.
what the
Right?
Vegas reason was. No, so it is on Saturday now. It is on Saturday. It
Yeah,
was
so
supposed
it's
to be
on
Oh.
Saturday. It
They
was
moved
supposed
it
to
back
be
a day.
Friday though, but the I think the problem was because I
thought
think
today
they
was
were
Saturday.
originally expecting the Leaf
Sorry, I
game.
thought. Okay,
They
never mind.
because the
That's-
Leaf game technically should have hit because it did Tuesday,
that's why.
Thursday,
That's
Saturday.
why.
So that's
Yeah.
where the
They
correlation
put it on
comes
Saturday
in.
because you need to have something on
You
Saturday.
gotta have some
Yes.
because if Sportsnet's paying
So I'm right. Okay.
tooth and
There we
nail
go.
$5 billion
Sorry,
out
Brian,
the
yes.
teeth, they have
Yeah.
to have a Canadian matchup on there. It's hockey night in
Yeah.
Canada, or
Yeah.
what are we gonna watch 4 American teams play? Like, here's the thing: has the NBA would the NBA ever reschedule any? That could literally be any team. The Minnesota Timberwolves, who are like the hands down most irrelevant franchise in the NBA, would they reschedule their playoff games because the Minnesota Twins are gonna bring in over 100,000 people over a week? Like, no, why would they? They're the Minnesota Timberwolves.
I think so. This is what I think. I think the Panthers. Well, okay. So here's the thing, though. Too Sunday, there's still the Miami Grand Prix. Like that. The Sunday
That's
is when
day
the
of
race
Grand
is.
Prix. Yeah.
So, but I guess the Heat game is more what they're worried about. So the Heat game's on Saturday, I believe.
That's in 2 different cities. One's in Miami.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know how far
I-
Miami is from Sunrise? It's like 2 hours.
But I almost wonder if they're worried about like how many people would how many Panthers fans would attend the game. Like I actually think
probably
they might
none.
be worried about that. Yeah.
But here's
Okay,
the,
we
here's
gotta
the
stop
argument.
stopping on Florida though, because like they
Here's
just
the
keep shoving it down our throats. Like I
Here's
gotta
the
stop.
argument to that. If they were gonna go to the Heat games over the Panthers games, they were
They're still going
probably
to.
going to do that regardless.
Yeah, it's
Right?
true. It's true.
And another
I don't
thing to
know.
that, if they were worried about the Leaf fans overpopulating the Panthers fans, well, too
It's
bad.
gonna happen
Newsflash for
regardless
you, it's
too.
going to happen anyway. So I don't think there is a legitimately sound. All those reasons are valid reasons, but I don't think they're sound reasons either. Like you could say that that's a reason, but it's not a real reason. It looks
Not a
like
good one.
it looks like it's Bush League. That's what it looks like. Like we're
Yeah.
rescheduling Pee Wee games because the older
Because the
kids have to play
AAA
it.
team's coming in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what that is.
Okay.
Oh God.
So lineup decisions now. If Nyes can't play game 3, first of all,
11-7.
my son, get him back. But yeah, I think you do go 11-7, right?
I think you go 11-7 regardless. I'll be honest with you. Like you guys are
We played better game 2 than game
yes.
1, and that was
Yes, but
12-6. Well, both games were 12-6.
hear me out.
So.
Like it looks to me like you just want to be a little bit more fleet of foot, especially on the back end. And I just think you just do it just for play style matchups. Like that's
Gustafson can go from like he. I think if you bring Gus in for game 3, he either leaves the game a folklore Leafs hero,
or a villain.
Or just run
yeah,
out of town. Yeah.
yeah. It
So-
might be his last game. Like
Here's the
he could
thing.
thrive in that environment, or he might be the one that he might be the scapegoat. But I would do it. I would actually do 11-7, bring Gus in. To be honest.
The
Okay, so
reason
my question is, I don't know if Lilligren has had the. He had a good game 1. His game
Yeah,
2
game 2
was
wasn't as good.
Mar Giordano especially, man. That's now it's
But he seems to be the common theme, right?
like
But I don't know. Do you bring Holland for him?
no. You just do 11-7. If Nyes is out, you just put Gus in. If Nyes wants to come back, you take out your whoever your worst forward is, I'd say, and you just try to match Florida's mobility with that with Gus.
Well, if Nyes is good, you just probably go back with the same lineup, right? I think that's what you do.
I don't know. I think that I just try 11-7. You're down 0-2. You have to do something.
Yeah,
If you don't,
we have to quickly. Okay, sorry, Brian. Finish your point.
if you don't do something, you're gonna see the same story over and over again, and by then you're gonna be down 3-1 or 3-0. It's just how it is. Like you say, don't fix what's not broken. I think that 2 games is enough time to do to get a tell for the situation.
It's letting a good roster potentially get in the way of a great roster. That's what the saying I heard was before the playoffs. And I can be swayed. I can definitely be swayed. I do want to give credit to that fourth line though. I mean, Dave, we're talking about Kerfoot. What a game Kerfoot had last night. Even outside the goal, like he was a water bug. He was flying everywhere last night. Kudos to him. I thought Lafferty was okay. Camp,
I think he was better than other games.
Yeah. I want playoff Camp. Like, the sweet guy from last season. He's been very quiet. He's been
3
really
goals
quiet.
against Tampa. How?
So the context there is that he was playing with Mikheyev and Engvall, but I mean Engvall's a goddamn like black hole offensively in the playoffs. But Mikheyev, I'm sure, helped a ton for David Camp, like making space for him, right? Do you know who played the least amount of who had the least time on ice for the Leafs outside of Matthew Nyes last night?
Lafferty. I don't know.
No.
Was it?
If it was a fourth liner, I wouldn't bring it up.
It's Yarncroke, right? I think I heard that.
Yes.
I think I saw
yes.
that. Yeah.
So it was Yarncroke.
7 minutes.
Lafferty had 9:38. Yarncroke had 8:36.
Oh my god.
But I still I feel like I'm stuck on this goddamn boat where I've dug my feet in and I'm saying like I don't hate what Yarncroke does, even without his offense. Like I don't know. I don't notice him making like maybe I've got to look out for it more because maybe I'm not paying close enough attention. But I don't see him make defensive errors or lose certain puck battles or not get in on the forecheck and do like Yarncroke things. I'm just not seeing any like great shot attempts or scoring chances. I mean, like, I don't know. I still think he's better than like Lafferty or Aston Reese. I don't know if he was justified 8:36. He does penalty kill, and he only had 44 seconds on the penalty kill because we only had 1 penalty to kill. So maybe that did him in a little bit on ice time. With the Nyes injury, that does bring us down to 11 forwards. And honestly, sometimes they just kind of run 3 lines. So he had to come out of the top 6 because that was his original line. This was the second line. So I don't know. Maybe I'm looking too far into it, but it did seem like maybe the coaching staff sees what some people have seen. I am yet to see it. I am going to pay closer attention to it, but I know people haven't been the happiest with Yarn Croak. So I just wanted to mention that.
Any other storylines you
Also,
guys? Oh, yeah.
yeah, sorry. One more thing. Just like another reflection on the last game. Luke Shen went full Carlos Bakery for like a 5-minute stretch in the game where he was icing the puck like there was no tomorrow. I love my boy Luke Shen. Fantastic, fantastic. I don't know. I don't know if we're stretching. We're trying to do the stretch pass too much. I don't know if we just don't have guys who can execute it with the
You have one.
greatest consistency. Well, I mean, 1 for 6. That's not great.
1 for 7.
Oh, okay,
One
excellent.
for maybe eight.
No, Lilligren can do it.
Okay.
Brody can do it. Riley can do it. McCabe can do it sometimes. I didn't think he was great at it last night either, Brian. And listen, Shen is absolutely allowed to have an off night. That might have been his first off night of the playoffs, and this is just a very small quibble. I don't know, Dave. What's your confidence at for next game? Is it too early? I know it's too early. Ah, man, we gotta sit on this for 2 days.
I still legitimately think that the Leafs win in 6. Like I'm like I thought it was gonna be Leafs in 6 to start the playoff, like this round. I still think it could still drop that way. I think maybe
for the Leafs to win, it's 6 or 7, man. Now,
yeah, right. Like it's either 6, maybe 7's more realistic, but like from everything I saw for the first 2 games, I think I said it before. They could have easily have just won those 2 games. Like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes it's just like that's the
guys. Why don't you just win it? Leafs,
Yeah.
why didn't you simply win the game?
They had it.
Man.
They literally had it in their hands. And then oh man.
Who was it?
Man.
Okay, who was it? The Bucks that went up 2-0 against the Raptors in the conference finals.
Yeah.
The year we won
and
it,
we
right?
lost, and we won
called that.
We won 4 straight.
Yeah, that was the Canadian sweep, right?
Yeah,
it's
like a gentleman's sweep, right?
So, but apparently, there was someone who did like a huge rant on this that I saw about like all the different types of sweeps and whatever. So apparently, the gentleman's sweep is when you go up 3-0 and you're so kind and polite that you say, "Here,
Give away
win a
game
game at home for your fans, and then we'll win game." That's apparently what the gentleman's sweep is. Apparently.
I thought going up 3-0 and then winning 4 straight, isn't that the reverse sweep?
Yes, yeah. No, this is you're up 3-0.
You drop
let's
game
say
5. So you drop game 4
let's say the
5.
Leafs were up 3-0, and then you say, Florida, have a pity win at home for your fans, then we'll beat you in 5 at home. That's the gentleman's sweep.
I thought the gentleman's sweep was you win the first game or you lose the first game and then you win 4 straight. So it's
That's
not
what I
an
thought too.
The inverse
sweep.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I think the point is they're not sweeps. I think that's kind of what we realized is if you lose a game, you didn't sweep them, man.
So,
man.
One more thing I just wanted to bring up before we end off the last topic for the day. So, a year ago, if I said you guys get to be in the second round, but 365 days from now you'll be down 0-2 to Florida, how would you feel compared to how it is feeling now?
If you told me that like a year ago, I'd probably like be jumping off of my couch. Right? Like I'm out of the first round. We're down 2-0. I don't give a. I just heard the first part and my eyes just went like blackout and my ears stopped working after hearing we're out of the first round.
Here's the one thing to that, Brian, is that literally that exact scenario could have happened last year as well because they could have been down 0-2 to Florida last year.
That's true. That's true.
And that, so if we're gonna look at it in context, like that was a President's Trophy winning team. If you had said that to me, I'd be like, okay, they're in the second round, but that's not really instilling confidence. The context of this year is that Florida squeaked into the playoff spot. They took down, they giant slayed the Boston Bruins, and now they're here, right?
Okay. Real quick. Monday. What's Monday, Brian? What's Monday?
Oh, lottery.
Draft lottery. You want to run the sim one time for us?
Yes.
Yeah.
With
Did you
2
see his
minutes to
face
go.
light up?
Yeah. 2
We're,
minutes
we're
ago.
winning it. We're winning it, boys.
Dude, I imagine
So,
he
hey,
pulls
I'm
Washington
excited,
out
man.
here.
I'm excited.
3,
Um,
2, 1. Anaheim, San Jose, Columbus. It's okay.
Yeah.
Next time.
That's probably how it's gonna
okay.
look.
Well,
I'd
listen.
rather lose this stupid simulator than the real thing.
Yes,
So
yes, obviously. Well, game 3 Sunday, draft lottery Monday. I don't know. We're gonna try maybe not live stream, but we're gonna get live reactions if we can of
yes.
the draft lottery. So that'll be next video probably. That'll be really
Yeah.
exciting. Really, I'm honestly, it'll be a nice like,
Hopefully,
to get out of the Toronto bubble and
yeah.
just like watch something as a neutral. I'm excited for that. I'm
Hopefully
excited.
all 3 of us are happy that day and like not like there's
It's
a
true.
chance
There's-
there's a chance 2 of us are
Oh.
happy, 1 of us are
Oh.
happy,
Or
or
none
none
of
of us are
us.
happy.
Dude, if we were to lose game 3 and then Montreal wins the lottery,
Oh,
I
dude,
might
I would just
I-
revoke my hockey card, dude. I'm
I
cashing
can't
it
believe I
in.
even vocalized that, but anyways,
Don't
at
like,
least now it's on.
I'm getting visions.
Brian,
now
you want me to
you
get the
say that.
miniature cup? You want me to get the miniature cup? Huh?
No, don't get that thing.
It's like you're a vampire and I hit you with the garlic. It's like no, get it away from.
So
That's how you react to it, man.
no, it's like that thing. That's like cardinal sin, man. Anyway, game 3 Sunday night on Hockey Night in Canada, I guess. Hockey Night in Canada on Saturday night with the Oilers. Fubo TV. Shout out to Razor. Shout out to NHLShop.ca. If you want to get your Gustav
Bedard Caps
Forsling,
jersey.
Bedard Caps jersey or Gustav Forsling jersey, NHLShop.ca. Links down below. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.